Good morning, students. Welcome back to my 31st lecture of the Module 6 of Subject Code CPC 505, Environmental Engineering 2. The topic continuation of the Module 6, that is the sludge handling and disposal. So the theoretical part we have covered, that is the sludge thickening part, then the sludge stabilization, you can say the sludge digestion part, and the last 30th lecture we have covered the sludge deodoring. Drying bed we discussed in details, and sludge hygienization also we have described before the disposal. So again, at a glance, thickener first, we can see I am showing you the flow sheet of the treatment process of the biological sludge treatment. First is thickener. From thickener digestion, we have seen the anaerobic or aerobic digestion. Then the chemical conditioning optional, but for improving the characteristics of the sludge before the sludge drying beds, before the sludge drying, that is the deodoring of the sludge in the sludge drying bed. And finally, we are disposing after the sludge drying bed, that is the sludge deodoring. So these we have elaborately described, describing with the photographs also. Now the today's lecture will mostly cover the numerical sums. Numerical sums, that is the design part of the digester, and the sludge digestion process related with some numerical problems we will discuss and the solve. So let us start one problem background, then we will discuss the numerical part. Fine. So let us come to the discussion on the numerical part of the anaerobic digester, that is the anaerobic sludge digestion and the anaerobic digester part, the numerical part, how you do solve the problem. That means how to design the anaerobic sludge digester, that we will describe. So yes, fine. We have come that to calculate that how to determine the digester volume. Let me describe the process. Then we will solve one problem, practical problem, how to determine the digester volume. Now, for design consideration, total digester volume is a function of the fresh sludge added daily, volume of the digested sludge produced daily, and for required digested time, volume of storage of digested sludge, gas storage, and volume of supernatant liquor. So again I am repeating the thing. So the digested volume total is a function of the fresh sludge added daily, fresh sludge added daily, volume of the digested sludge produced daily, and for required digestion time, volume of storage of digested sludge, gas storage, volume of supernatant liquor at the top. Now the volume of gas storage is relatively small as compared to the others. If the supernatant liquid is removed as it is produced, the volume of remaining digested sludge versus digested time is a parabolic function. The average volume of digested sludge is the initial volume minus 2/3 of the difference between initial minus final volume. It has been found by the experiment. So the average volume of, what is the formula of the average volume of digested sludge? This refers to Fairy-Tale paper 1968, one of our researcher, esteemed researcher paper. Here it has been discovered that the average volume of digested sludge is the initial volume minus 2/3 of the difference between initial minus final volume. Now average volume of digested sludge, V average, that means equal to V1 minus 2/3 of V1 minus V2 as per the Fairy-Tale research paper 1968. Now what is the V1 and what is the V2? V1 is the volume of fresh sludge added daily, and V2 is the volume of digested sludge produced daily. So V1 fresh sludge which are feeding in the digester, and V2 is the digested sludge produced daily. in meter cube per day. Now, the reduction in volume of sludge during digestion is mainly due to release of water from the sludge solids that have subsequent previous lecture we have seen, and partly due to the destruction of conversion of solids to biogas. Some portion reduction of water, some solids are converted to biogas. That conversion process into the biogas and the extraction process of the water ultimately delete the reduced volume of the sludge. Therefore, the total volume of the sludge in digesters, that is Vs, equal to V average into Td, that time for that specified time where the average sludge is restored, plus V2 into Ts. Let me tell what is Td, Ts, V average. That means, again I am telling, this is a very sensitive part you have to keep in mind for solving the problem. Numerical sum. Now Vs is the total sludge volume in meter cube. V2 is volume of digested sludge in meter cube per day. That means V2 is multiplied by what? Ts. That means what is Ts? Ts is time provided for sludge storage. After sludge digestion, the sludge storage takes place. So V2 means the volume of the sludge digested, and Ts the time provided for sludge storage. So once volume into T will give in meter cube the digested sludge. And what is the V average into D? Average volume of the digested sludge, and the Td is time required for digestion. So far as the digestion will take place, that duration, the average volume of sludge, that has to be taken into multiply by Td. So that will give the Vs, that is the volume of sludge in digesters, total volume of sludge in digesters. Thus, the sludge volume normally occupies bottom half of the digester, and supernatant and biogas occupies top half. Hence, Vt equal to 2 times Vj. So once we calculate the volume of the sludge, then the digester will be twice, because 50% we are assuming occupied by the sludge, and 50% is occupied by the supernatant water and the biogas. So approximately for the design purpose, we can calculate the digester volume by multiplying 2 with the volume of the sludge, total volume of the sludge. So once we get the total volume of the sludge, we will just multiply 2 with the total volume of the sludge to get the volume of the digester, where V1 equal to total digester volume, I mean to say V2 equal to total digester volume in meter cube. Now the digester can also be designed based on typical mean cell residence time. So another way of designing of digester using the mean cell residence time vis-a-vis solid retention time and organic loading VSS per meter cube per day. So we'll see the application of both the theory in the numerical sums that will show in 2 sums applying both the theory. So what is that mean cell residence time? Theta g x by delta x. So what is x? This is the kg of dry solids in the digester, and what is delta x? Kg of dry solids produced per day. Automatically, if we divide the kg of dry solids in the digester divided by the kg of dry solids produced per day, automatically will get the day, which is equal to the sludge wasted the day in which the sludge wasted, that is the solid retention time, that is the mean cell residence time. So the HRT in digester is equal to HRT, because no recycling takes place. So for the digester, HRT is same as HRT because of no recycling takes place. So there is minimum theta c below which digestion will not occur, which depends on the temperature. Fine. Now let me solve the problem. This is the problem for finding out the volume of the digester. So theory background of the numerical sums first have been explained to you, and then I am solving the problem. It's a type of design type, because you have to calculate the design of the, you have to design the sludge digester, that is the where the digestion takes place, that is the volume of the sludge digester, we have to find out. Now, what is the data input given? Now, it is a problem related with a low rate digester. We have seen the high rate digester, low rate digester, so it is a problem related with the low rate digester. So, a low rate digester is to be that means if you remember in the theory part which you have described, that the low rate digester means there are different zones. One, the active zone, some portion the sludge is there for the digestion, then after digestion it circulates at the bottom. The top is the supernatant water and the bottom is the, and above top is the gas. So the 50% portion of the sludge volume, let us consider. So first we will calculate the volume of the sludge, then we will multiply with 2 to get the digester volume. Now what is the data input given? Let us see. A low rate digester is to be designed for waste sludge generated from the activated sludge process, which is a secondary biological suspended loop process of the biological reactor. Now active sludge from activated sludge process, treating sewage generated from 25,000 persons. So the capita is also required. So move the capita, move the fresh sludge. The fresh sludge has 0.11 kg dry solids per capita. And out of that, the volatile suspended portion is 70% of the dry solid. The dry solid is 5% of the sludge, and specific gravity also given to calculate the volume. Now during the digestion, 65% of the volatile solid are destroyed and fixed solids remain unchanged. The balance is the, once we deduct the volatile solid, then the remaining portion is the fixed. The digested sludge has 7% dry solids and the weight specific gravity is this, and the phase sludge also the specific gravity is given, and the I mean to say the specific gravity is given and the percentage of dry solid is given. So kindly matters to be noted that the percentage of dry solid and the specific gravity both in case of the phase sludge as well as the digested sludge is given. Okay. Now operating temperature of digester is 35 degrees centigrade and sludge storage time is 45 days to calculate the volume. It will be required sludge storage time for calculating the storage volume, that is the digested sludge. Now determine the digested volume required. Assume digestion time is 23 days. How do you proceed the problem? Because from given data, solids in incoming sludge equal to capita, that is the number of person it is given is 25,000. So what data is given? That 0.11 kg dry solids per capita. So if we multiply the number of capita, that is 25,000 into 0.11 kg dry solids per capita, what will get at the end of the day? We will get at the end of the day solids in incoming sludge. I mean to say solids in incoming sludge is 2750 kg per day. Now, out of these solids, the volatile, there is a portion of the volatile portion and the fixed portion. What is the portion of the volatile portion? Because dry solid you have calculated 2750. Now, out of 2750 kg per day dry solid, the volatile portion is 70% as is given in the question. So, the volatile solid 2750 into 0.7, that is 1925 kg per day. That is the volatile part I am telling. What is the fixed part? Fixed part of the solid is 2750 into 0.3, because 70% balance 100% minus 70%, that is the 30% is the fixed and the 70% of the volatile. So the fixed solid also we have got 825 kg per day. Now the volatile suspended solid destroyed, that is also given in the question. During that digestion process, some solids are being destroyed. That is, which is that it is given that 60% of VS are destroyed during digestion. So what is the destroyed portion? If the amount volatile is 1925 Out of 1925, destroyed portion of the volatile is 65% of the 1925, that is 1251 kg per day. So the digested sludge solids represent output is what? What is the output? Input we have given 1925, that is the volatile solids, minus decrease due to reaction, that is the 1251. So what is the volatile solid in suspended sludge? It is 1925 minus 1251, that is 35% of the total dry solid, which is 30. I mean to say the destroyed is 65%, so 35% of the volatile solids, that is the volatile solid in sludge, because 65% has destroyed, so balance 35%, you can have 1925 into 35.35 or 1925 minus 1251, that is 674 kg per day in digested sludge, that is the volatile suspended amount. So total solids in digested sludge, volatile is 674 after taking care of the destruction part plus the fixed solid portion. We have known that 825 kg per day. So total kg per day, total solids in digested sludge is 1499 kg per day. 1499 kg per day. That is the total solids in digested sludge. Okay. 1499 kg per day. Now let us see the volume of the digested sludge. It is given that digested specific gravity is already given. What is that? Specific gravity is 1.03 and the digested sludge has 7% DS. So if we know the dry solid, then we can know the volume of the sludge, because 7% DS, the percentage of the sludge, how much percentage of the sludge is dry solid, that is given in the question. So knowing the dry solid portion, we can convert it. What is the sludge volume? Taking care the specific gravity is 1.03. So here we'll take 1.03, that is 1499 is the mass, that is the total solids of the digested, that is the dry solids weight of the sludge, digested sludge. So what will be the volume of the digested sludge? Because 7% of the sludge is the dry solid. So you multiply 0.1499, you divide 0.07, 7%. Simply 1499, you divide 7%, then only you will get the sludge mass. Now the mass, you know the density equal to mass by volume. So volume equal to mass by density. So mass of the digested sludge is 1499 divided by 0.07. Now if you divide by specific gravity into 1000, that is the density. Ultimately mass by density will give you the volume, that is the 20.79 meter cube per day. That is the volume of the digested sludge. Now let us see the fresh sludge volume. Fresh sludge volume, what is the fresh sludge? That was calculated that 2750. Before digestion, solids in incoming sludge was 2750. That was the solids. Then what is the sludge mass? Simply 2750 divided by 0.05. Why 0.05? Because in the question it was given that 5% of the sludge is the dry solid, and that is the fresh sludge. So if we know the dry solid, simply you divide it by the 5%, that is 0.05. You will get the mass of the fresh sludge, and then you divide by specific gravity 1.01. That means ultimately it has to be converted into density. So 1.0 into 1000. So you divide the mass by density. So ultimately you will get the volume of the fresh sludge, that is the 54.46 meter cube per day. Now that theory portion which you have been described corresponding to the researcher paper fair, what you have learned just before studying the numerical sum, that the formula of the average volume of the digesting sludge, V average, equal to V1 minus 2/3 of V1 minus V2. So what is V1? V1 is 54.46 meter cube. And what is V2? What is 2/3 of V1 V2? 2/3 is 0.67, V1 54.46. minus V2, that is the I mean to say 20.79 is the volume of digested sludge. So V1 is the volume total, V1 is the paste sludge volume, and V2 is the volume of digested sludge before the digestion. So that two volume V1 V2 we know. So we can calculate V1 minus 2/3 into V1 minus V2, that is 31.9 meter cube per day. That is the average volume of digesting sludge. Now you have to ultimately, this you are calculating per day because the digestion taking place per day. Now the storage time you have to take care for finding the total volume of the digested sludge in digestion. So what is the time 23 and 45? Let me clear you. 23 day is the digestion time, 23 day. So you have multiplied 23 into 31.9, that is the average volume of digesting sludge. Again I am repeating, my dear students, that after finding out the average volume of digesting sludge, if we multiply the total volume, if we multiply the day of storage of the sludge, then we will get a portion of the volume. That is for the portion of the that is one portion of the volume. And second, we are going to calculate the sludge storage time, that is the fresh sludge storage time, that is the 45 into what is the volume of digested sludge. I mean to say, here it is, first we have multiplied 31.9 into 23. What is 31.9? The average volume of digesting sludge, and then the volume of digested sludge will be multiplied with 45 days to calculate the total volume of the digested sludge in the digestion, which is 1669.25 meter cube. Now 1669.25 meter cube, if it is the volume of the sludge, then we have seen this covers the 50% of the digester. Balance 50% is occupied with the supernatant water, that the gas, etc., etc. So we have, for final volumes, the volume of the digester will be calculated twice that of the volume of the sludge, which has been found at 1669. So ultimately 2 into 1669.25 will give you the 3338.5 meter cube, that is the total volume of the digester. So this is one of the examples I have shown you how to design the digester, how to determine the volume of the digester simply by using that formula V average equal to V1 minus 2/3 into V1 minus V2. You have to memorize this formula for finding out the average volume of digesting sludge. Rest of the thing are simply the mathematical expression, the density weight volume ratio, and the day multiplication of day with the part day mass of the sludge, which is very simple calculation. Only thing you have to take memory to calculate the V average, that is the average volume of digesting sludge. Once again I am telling you, which is V1 minus 2/3 of V1 minus V2, whereas V1 is the, what is V1? Whereas V1 is the paste sludge volume and V2 is the volume of the digested sludge. And finally, the average volume of the digesting sludge will be multiplied with 23. Here it is 23. Ultimately, average volume of digested sludge will be multiplied with the digestion time. Digestion time. So digestion time will be multiplied with the average volume of digester, and the sludge storage time will be multiplied with the sludge storage time will be multiplied with the I mean to say with the volume of digested sludge. So this portion has to be clear from your mind, and this portion has to keep in your memory. So this is one of the problem I have shown you. Another problem I am going to show you, which is very simple, just to give you the conception, that is related with the, let me just see you this already we have covered in earlier. Yes, one sludge drying bed, that is a deordering problem, sludge deordering problem, that is the sludge drying bed. first problem I have described with the sludge digestion, and now second problem I am going to. This is the last problem, whether I can say, and for closing my lecture for the module 6 of the sludge handling and disposal. This type of problem is very much interesting and may come in the exam. So the design a sludge drying bed for drying the digested sludge volume of 229 meter cube per day. Consider the deodoring, drying and sludge removal cycle of 10 days. Now here, since it is a question of sludge drying bed, let us consider the sand depth of 0.3 meter and the depth of sludge application as 0.3 meter. Then total area required for the bed. What is the total area required for the bed? We know the sludge, the digested sludge, because what is the sludge in the sludge drying bed? After the digested sludge, optional portion is the conditioning. You may or may not, but ultimately the digested sludge is going into the sludge drying bed. So what is going into the sludge drying bed? That is the sludge, digested sludge. What volume is this? That is the 229 meter cube per day. If it is 229 meter cube per day, that is the volume, and the sludge depth is 0.3. So we divide 229 meter cube per day divided by 0.3 meter, that is the depth, and we will get the volume in meter square. Why 229 into 10 we have done? Because the renewal cycle of 10 days. So sludge renewal cycle of 10 days. Now 229 meter cube per day, you have to multiply with 10 days recycling day. You have to renewal cycle day of 10 days. Then 2290 is the total volume of the digested sludge divided by the 0.3 is the depth of the sludge. Then the square meter of the bed can be found out, which is found out as 7633. So each bed with 8 meter and length of 3 meter, that is the consideration, because in design you can assume breadth and depth, like breadth is each bed of width is 8 meter and length is 30 meter. So therefore the number of beds required is total area, if it is 7633, number of beds required is 7633 divided by 8 divided by 30, that is the 31.8. 31.8 is what? This is the number of bed. So ultimately fraction cannot be done. So 32 we have to convert. Hence provide 32 number of beds of size 30 meter by 8 meter. That is the design of the sludge drying bed. A simple problem I will just show you. Okay. Now everything I have told you, that is the numerical sums related with the digester, that is the digestion process takes place or sterilization process takes place, and the sludge drying bed where the deodoring takes place before final disposal to the land or ocean. And to some extent final disposal of the sludge we have already described, but still before concluding the lecture I just want to highlight the thing for concluding my lecture of the module, for concluding the module of the sludge disposal and the handling, sludge handling and the disposal. There is a module 6. So let me conclude with the conclusion of the topic sludge disposal and sludge handling and the sludge disposal. So final disposal of the sludge, again I am just telling you, although it has been discussed in subsequent lectures, for conclusion portion I am just again and again highlighting this point, that final disposal of the sludge from treatment plant, whether it is the industry or municipal wastewater treatment plant, primary, secondary, generally involves some form of land disposal. The most common methods of land disposal include spreading on land, of course the land area is required, lagooning, dumping, landfilling. Now spreading of land means deodored and composted sludge can be disposed of by spreading over farmland and plying under after it has dried. Why farmland? Because the phosphorus nitrogen addition of the fertilizer, it will increase the fertility of the soil, improve the soil condition, and generally it is spreaded over the farmland. Now wet deodored sludge can be incorporated into the soil directly by injection. The humus in the sludge conditions the soil and improve the moisture retentiveness. Now, lagooning is an economical mode of disposal in remote area. A lagoon is an earthen basin into which untreated or digested sludge is deposited. Stabilization of untreated sludge can be carried out in a lagoon which gives objectionable orders. The stabilization sludge settles to the bottom of the lagoon and accumulates excess liquid from lagoon. If there is any, is returned to the wastewater treatment plant at primary settling tank or PST. Sludge may be stored indefinitely in a lagoon or it may be removed periodically after draining and drying. Dumping in an abandoned mine quarry is a suitable disposal method only for the sludges and solids that have been stabilized so that no decomposition or nuisance condition will result. Digested sludge, clean grit, and incinerator residue can be disposed of safely by this method. Landfilling is a very traditional method. A sanitary landfill can be used for disposal of the sludge, grease, grit, and other solids where it is stabilized or not. The sanitary landfill method is most suitable if it is also used for disposal of the other solids waste of the community. In a sanitary landfill, the waste are deposited in a designated area, compacted in places with a tractor or roller and covered with a 30 centimeter layer of clean soil. With daily coverage of the newly deposited waste, nuisance condition, each has order and flies are minimized. And this is the all about the sludge handling and disposal. More or less we have covered as per your syllabus. Mainly it was covered the first, if you see your syllabus map out, that is the sludge thickening, then the sludge digestion or stabilization, then the sludge drying bed, that is the deodying part. But in addition to that, the conclusion part, I have covered mostly all the things. We have covered the sludge hygienization also. So this type of thing we have covered the conditioning of the sludge for better characteristics of the sludge and the numerical sums, how to calculate the volume of the digester and how to calculate the area of the sludge drying bed, that is also seen in the numerical sum. So I will conclude the module, that is the sludge handling and disposal, that is the module 6. Next I am going to start the module number 7 from the next class. So students, thank you very much. Have a nice day.